It only took me an hour later than what I usually get it at, but we're finally here. Hello, everyone. This is Monday Morning Coffee, episode 49. This is the show where I have a list of topics, I have a coffee, and I keep talking until I finish the coffee. Today we got a big mug, so that's how you know it's going to be a big one. I'd like to say welcome to the podcast audience. It means I'm going to have to start paying more attention to my voice and less to the image on screen. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can still see me and see everything. And if you're on the podcast form, this is so hard. I am trying not to digress at all because I know now that there's potentially people watching this in just audio. I'm like visualizing the signals and shit, the wavelengths. And I'm like, this has gotta make sense. I'll definitely be listening to my own podcast after this. I want to know what the audio experience is, because I think usually as a live stream, this is just totally fine as it is. And I think my number one fear is that now that it's going to have an audio version of it up somewhere, if this is just a complete fucking disaster if you're trying to listen to it audio wise. But we'll see. I'll take a look at it and we'll see what happens. But of course I can't take a look at it now because we haven't finished the episode yet. So hello, like I said, Monday Morning Coffee number 49. So the 49th one on YouTube, but the first one on Spotify and anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, yada yada yada. Let me move into the first segment of today, if I can find it. That is the updates across all of our stuff. Oh, and of course, as always, sponsors are in the description. They're also, if you're watching YouTube, right? That's gonna be a YouTube exclusive. You don't get to know what I just did for the Spotify listeners. You have to watch the YouTube VOD to figure that out. So, updates. First one, of course, jr.com. So jacob-robinson.com. Not too much crazy stuff happening here. Some new blog posts, as always, are coming out on Sundays, I do believe, but there's nothing new coming to the site, at least for now. I guess there is tangentially stuff that's coming to the website, and this is with the next two updates. We do have two big releases coming up this week. One of them is Baby Bird, which is a short story that will be released for free on the projects page, right next to Boys and Girls and all that sort of stuff. The other one, which I can now finally say what this project is going to be because I know for sure which one it is going to be. I hinted at the fact that there was going to be a new side project release at some point, but I wasn't sure which one. But I now know which one. It's going to be Vox Jobuli is coming, which is still really gay to say out loud, but it's a little bit too late for a name change. Vox Jobuli, because it's like Vox Populi, but it's Vox Job. I thought it was really cute. Okay, let me do some historical context. Let me explain what it is first, actually. Maybe that would help you. It is a way to streamline essentially applying for a good job, right? Emphasis on good job. So essentially what we did was we took pretty much every notable company on Glassdoor, the company rating website for employees, and we took everything that was a 4.0 and above, which is very, very good in terms of Glassdoor. So everything that's a 4.0 and above, we researched the companies, made sure that they were legitimate companies, that they didn't just get like review, what's the opposite of review bombed? Probably review pumped, right? Wanted to make sure that they deserve their rankings, all that sort of stuff. And then we streamlined like, oh, okay, if you want to apply to this company, just so you know, this is what most people who are reviewing this have as their position. So, for example, there's a lot of tech companies out there, and the people who are reviewing the tech company on Glassdoor are software engineers. So, if you want the good experience, you might need to be a software engineer as opposed to a financial analyst who might have a completely different opinion on the company. But, or maybe not. Or maybe not, right? So, it's the most common position that is reviewed on Glassdoor, their salary, information on the different locations that the company has. So if you're going on site and you live in, say, Sacramento, I don't know why Sacramento was the first thing to come up to my head out of every single U.S. city in the world. Every single U.S. city in the world. That's a good one for the audio listeners. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I still get those. Now I'm self-conscious about the audio stuff, but I still have to like also pay attention to me visually for the YouTube. Maybe I bit off more than I could chew here. We'll see if I'm able to learn and recover, as they say. Every single city in the US, and that even then, that part was also a digression. Let's say you're from Sacramento, you can sort and filter just the jobs that are on site in Sacramento, and then you can also sort if they have remote options as well. And then from there, it links you straight to their job openings page, so you just apply the jobs from there. So that's what it is. That's another diagram. We go into so many different loops, and I need to stop talking before I go into even more loops. So this is an idea that I had all the way back when I was in college, because I was looking for a job then. Now I'm not so much looking for a job, but you know how it is. I still think it's a pretty good idea. And so I decided to bring it back because now I'm like, oh, that idea is easy. I didn't know how to do it when I was in college, but now I know how to do it. And it's very, very easy. So it's being made now. And so that was my excuse for why the name is bad, because I thought of the name in college. I didn't think of the name now. But I didn't want to change the name. Like I said, it's too late. If I've been working on it since college, that I don't want to change the name now. This tool is, I'm going to say semi-free. I might change that. It's going to cost money. So I guess it's not free. Though I'm not really sure what semi-free means. But maybe there'll be a little bit of like a small demo version where it doesn't have all the companies, it just has a couple of the most popular ones. Other than that, it's going to be paid, but not like a huge amount, right? Like maybe $10. And I'll give you the choice that if you want to donate more, you can donate more. You know how you get that option on Gumroad where it's like, oh, $9.99 plus. So it's like you can choose just the $10 because that's how much it costs, or you can choose however much you want to cost, or however much you want to give on top of that. So that's probably how it's going to work. I should have set up the pricing before I talked about the pricing. That seemed like it maybe would have been smarter to do, but at least I can tell you for a fact that that's coming out late September, early October. So at the very least you know about that part, and that part is true. And it's the same with Baby Bird, which I've been talking about. It will be coming late September. I have to be careful with my words. Late September, early October, somewhere around that time frame. It's pretty much done with writing, so now it's just the editing part, and the editing part's easy. So there's all that. So 2 big projects coming out this next month. That's pretty exciting. And I'll, of course, be hosted on jacob-robinson.com. One, Baby Bird will be in the projects page. The other one will be probably have its own dedicated page, and you'll be able to find it somehow. I'll give you more information as we get closer. In terms of Astukery creative stuff, I mean, that's it. It's Baby Bird, and of course, Film the Rhythm still going. And that is going on Instagram Reels on the Astukery-O Instagram, on TikTok, which is the primary account for it, and on YouTube at youtube.com/Astukery_, not Astukery, because apparently this YouTube stole that from them, and they could never use it ever again, which is very sad, even though that's the main account. So it's a Stukery underscore if you want the fill in the room content. As for the fun stuff, so some of you might have noticed that there was no Armchair Detective video version that came out on Sunday. And I mean, that makes sense because I explained that in the VOD for Monday Morning Coffee last Monday that we didn't have anything. It was an expedited, I think was the word that I used, expedited version of Monday Morning Coffee because it was on Labor Day, which seems like, I mean, I don't know, I used to, before I did this full time, paid a lot of attention to when holidays were because I wanted the free time to essentially work more on my own stuff. And now that I am exclusively working on my own stuff, I just don't pay attention to holidays at all, which becomes a problem, not for me, but because if everybody else has a holiday on that day, I think I said this last week. I'll give this for the Spotify listeners though, because if everybody else is off on Labor Day, then everybody else is contacting you about stuff that they want to do on Labor Day. So it creates a problem. And you can't do like a very long form. Like I like to make these shows an hour and 30. Honestly, I'm aiming if I could make them 2 hours and 30 at some point. Well, hold on a minute. To be clear, it's When the Coffee Ends. That's the name of the show. But if I can sit here and drink an iced coffee for 2 hours and 30 minutes, goddamn it, I will. So that was... Oh yeah, that was the reason why there was no Armchair Detective. I had to think about that for a second. I don't know where I was going with that. But there's the new Hitman stuff. So Hitman, you'll notice, Hitman did not come out as a stream. That Hitman stuff I recorded a part 1 and a part 2. Part 2 is when I changed my microphone settings. So I sound a little bit crisper and cleaner. I sound like how I do now. So that marks the audio change. And then the week afterwards, so this week is Hitman Part 2. Because Hitman Part 1 is up, of course. Hitman Part 2 is next week. And then the week after that is going to be GeoGuessr, which is another thing that I pre-recorded to make padding. Because I thought I would need padding. Turns out I didn't. But I made them, so I might as well turn them into videos. And then afterwards, we're going to start cutting the VODs for this stuff, the streams this week and last week, which are more or less going to be the same games, probably. We're going to play a little bit of Starfield. I have been playing a lot of Starfield, and I can talk a little bit about Starfield to, like I said, which time. But also some classic Roblox maps, because I went through and I stored the whole damn thing. 13,000 places, whittled down to 1,000 of the most notable looking ones, and I intend to play all 1,000 of them on stream. Not in one day, but over time. All 1,000 at some point. So I intend to do that. Of course, those will be, once we're done with those whole series, they will turn into videos. And of course, we'll come back to Hitman at some point once all those videos for Hitman are out. So that's that stuff. And I was missing one thing. I see it. I was missing one thing. Another thing that's coming out this week, if you are on Patreon, and that is patreon.com/Astukery, by the way, is a new Patreon-only exclusive series called Astukery's Cabana. Now, what is Astukery's Cabana? Well, if you follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/Astukery, my original OG Instagram, not the art account Instagram, then you'll know that I did a little mini series called Astukery's Cabana where I go over things that I think are cool, essentially. So the first episode was Winamp skins. The second episode was, I want to say, NeoCities. And then the third episode was Web 1.0 stuff. And I want to keep doing that, but the only problem was that format was all images. So it was sort of like a zine that was on Instagram. And that was a cool idea, but I wanted to showcase so much more. And I felt like maybe that wasn't the best format for what I wanted to do. I felt like it would have been better for video stuff. And since I need an incentive for people to go on the Patreon, besides we have like 2 series on this channel is already too much. So I figure, you know what, let's give one to let's make it even at all times. So if there's 2 series that happen on a Stukery main free YouTube, then there should be 2 series that go on the Patreon. That's my opinion. Excuse me, I almost just burped right into the camera. But then there's another, and then so the second series, because of course on this channel it's the live stream highlights, and then also Armchair Detective. On Patreon, it's going to be a Stukery's Cabana coming this week, probably on Friday. The video's edited. I just need to figure out when I'm going to post it. And I'll post a little like demo version of it, probably as a short on this channel. And there's going to be one other Patreon exclusive series that'll come out at some point. So you have those to look forward to. Another thing that I've been experimenting with on this channel, and you've probably noticed, well, I'm talking about YouTube right now, I'm not talking about the podcast, is reruns. So I've been doing rerun streams on the days that I don't do streams. And here's my logic for that. First of all, I can't stream on that day, but I still want to give some engagement for people who are going to the channel, coming to the channel, brand new or returning to the channel. And I feel like reruns are a good way to do that, because even if I don't have the time to stream that day, I can at least show you something for that day. Another thing is just, you know, I don't think the rerun format is too obnoxious, because especially with this channel, there's so few people on it as it stands right now, that I feel like if I go back in that catalog and I do a rerun stream, like, there is a good 95% chance that people who are clicking it have never seen it before, right? I feel like if you're a bigger channel where you have a very consistent viewer base, that's always the same people, doing reruns is kind of stupid. But I feel like if you are, if it's just new people coming into the channel every single day, which I feel like is mostly the case for this channel, then reruns are totally fine. But hey, put your comment in the comments below on that if you think I should stop doing that. But it doesn't seem too harmful for now. I don't know. I've done things on this channel that I thought weren't harmful, and then later on they blew up in my face. So we'll see what direction that goes. But for now, pretty much every single week that there's not every single day that there's not a stream in the week. So weekdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Whenever there is not an actual stream of me talking, then there's going to be a sort of rerun stream. I feel like that's not going to be too obnoxious. Although it means that I need to start remembering more to do the intros and outros, because that's how I figure out, that's how I've been figuring out when the streams start and end on the reruns, because of course I haven't muted. So, and I'm also not paying attention to them for the most part. I'm usually working on other stuff, other edits, video edits, other recordings, secret stuff. Maybe one day I'll be live mic'd and you'll get a free episode of the Stukery's Cabana for that. Who knows? So that is the fun updates. And then JBR, what's going on with JBR? Well, there is a brand new video. If you go to jbr.works and you go to the Start Here page, that very, very barren page that was there before, that's still incredibly barren, it at least now has a video explaining what JBR Premium is, if you're more of a visual sort of person. Also, the description on the site didn't really explain too much. So I did a deep dive into all the different offerings that JBR Premium has, and basically a demo to walk you through what it has, so you can decide based on that demo if you'd like to purchase it or not, or if you don't want to purchase it, then that's fine. It's kind of made from the example of you're not looking straight at the website already, so that I can use it for stuff like Product Hunt or wherever else I want to post it. It's kind of like a multi-use tool per se. Alright, that's all the boring as shit updates out of the way. Well, hold on. I have the most important update here for you. Very important. Is I started using voice mod. Okay? I've heard this is very popular with the kids. And, you know, since I know that we're doing an audio format now, right? So it's not just me. I can't just make goofy little gags with my face or with videos, reacting to videos. So I decided a soundboard was necessary. I don't have too much on the soundboard yet. I have the losing tune from Price is Right. I have the Vine boom, even though I've never seen a Vine in my entire life. And of course, most importantly, I have vocoded AI audio of the Minecraft villager coming. That was the first thing I added to that soundboard. I hope you know that. That was the very first thing that I ever added. And then I added the other three like 5 weeks later, like today basically. I just set this up like 5 weeks ago and I just added the other ones today, but we'll be adding more stuff. I noticed I can drag and drop sounds, which is how I made the Minecraft villager coming one. And so I think, you know, anytime I hear a sound now, I'll just, you know, I'll pause to my, should I be adding that one to the soundboard for Monday Morning Coffee? I'll think about that. I also want to point out that the second that I played the Minecraft villager coming sound effect, the stream disconnected. But hey, that audio is up on YouTube. I got the audio from YouTube, so I think it's allowed. So I'm watching you, YouTube, your goddamn double standards. I know I got blocked at that Armchair Detective live stream last week. Speaking of which, hey, let's transition here. I am going to do Armchair Detective. So Armchair Detective, for those of you in Spotify, or for those of you who are just brand new to the stream, we have a sub-segment here on Monday Morning Coffee called Armchair Detective, where I go over a random mystery video reaction or more to some sort of topic, and we put on our Armchair Detective hats, and we pretend to know anything about what's going on at all. So like if there's one level deep, let's say that you're like an actual police officer, right? Actually investigating like a murder. And then one level deeper than that is a YouTuber who makes like a 4-hour-long video essay on the topic. And then at the very bottom of the totem pole is a guy that's just like, you know, I read about this on Reddit once. I think it was that guy. We're the last person. That's what Armchair Detective is all about. So, but this is pretty exciting, because this is the first week where we're not just going to do a video reaction, because we've been doing video reactions. You know, if you're on Spotify, we've been doing most of these as video reactions so that we could get out all of our video stuff before the thing went to audio format. But now that's all on audio format, we get to take the whole damn list. I get to throw this thing in a randomizer. Or at least not necessarily a randomizer, but just like kind of like, you know, scrolling really, you know, like scroll back and forth really fast, and then whatever you see first is the thing that you pick. So I got my Armchair Detective up right here. Well, it's loading in. Hold on, give it a second. Give it a second. It's loading in. There's a lot of stuff on here, and I can't wait to get rid of most of this. So there's a chance that we land on something that's just like nothing. But if that's the case, or if it's just like lasts a couple like minutes, then we just move on to the next thing. It's basically what that's going to be. So, without further ado, let's see what our first thing is on here, and then to use this, to make it exciting, let me do a bit that I already did last Armchair Detective. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so let's see what's it gonna be. What's it gonna be? Let's find it. And stop. Don't look. Look directly into my eyes. Don't see what it is. Okay. Have selected one. Oh, I need the ding 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 ding. I need that. Do you think they have one of those? Sorry, hold on. Is there like a winner ding? Hold on. I gotta look at the voice mod community sound effects. Winner ding. Like ding ding ding. Is it just a ding? That's a single ding. You don't really get across that it's a like winner thing. There's a chatterbait ding. I don't really want to click that one. What about winner sound? No, I don't want damn Daniel. Victory sound effect. Do I want to click this? Oh, it's the Roblox one. Oh, I actually don't think you can hear that anyway. Well, in that case, that's awkward, but who cares? All right, I'll get one for next time. So, Armchair Detective for today is the Saturn Moon Glyphs. Saturn Moon Glyphs has been selected. Can we at least get an audience? Is there an audience clap, like an audience cheer? Like, hey, yeah, Saturn Moon Glyphs. Come on, where is it? This sounds like a crowd cheer. Let me use this one. And I'm sorry if you're watching on SoundCloud. Listen, it was never going to work. Sound, whatever the fuck, Sound, Spotify, whoever. Saturn Moon Glyphs, yay! There it is. You playing the sound? Okay, good. Yeah, it's real exciting. So let's move in to Armchair Detective. Let's figure out what the fuck that means, because I don't know what that means. A lot of these I kind of just selected at random. So if you want the process behind how we get the ideas for Monday or Armchair Detective stuff, it's because I watched a video on a conspiracy chart once. And I saw something, I was like, hey, that's actually kind of interesting. Let me add that to the list. So, should I do this on private browser? Because you never know what's gonna come up when you Google some of these things. Let me tell you. That's actually not my reason. My reason is because I don't want you to see any of my tabs, just in case. Because I have a lot of work stuff open. All right. Let me open it. Let me open the window for the people at home. People on YouTube, that is. People watching live. Saturn Moon Glyphs. No idea what this is. We gotta Armchair Detective it out, learn what it is, and then figure out, once we know what it is, figure out, okay, is this real? Or is this a crock of shit? Let's find out. So they're talking about the Saturn Moon Glyphs. So I'm assuming there's a moon on Saturn, or not on Saturn, but there's like a Saturn moon. Moon that Saturn has is what I am trying to say. It's got a lot of them. Holy shit, there's a couple of these. Should have known this from playing Starfield. I'll give my Starfield review after Armchair Detective is over. Okay, there's a couple of these. So let's learn about Saturn first. Holy shit, there's a lot. I just realized that's just more of them on this side. Mimas, which seems like the smallest of them, although I don't see the other ones. Enceladus, Tiphys, Dihone, Rhea. These sound like Final Fantasy character names. Titan, that's a Final Fantasy character name. Hyperion. Iapetus? Is that correct? Iapetus? Iapetus? I have to sound like I'm Roman. Iapetus. That's what it is. That's the correct pronunciation. And lastly, Phoebe. So here's what's interesting though. Here's what's interesting. So I don't know much about space. I don't know much about Saturn. Really. So Saturn's the one with the ring. That's how I know. There's only one with a ring, right? So Saturn's the one with the big ring around it. and it's a gas giant, right? So there's no like solid, there's nothing solid there. It's just a bunch of like gas, or I guess there's like probably like a small gravitational core to it, right? And all this gas, all throughout the world, not the world, we're talking the universe now. This is the universe, motherfucker. All the gas in the universe is being attracted to this single planet, from what I understand. And it doesn't actually look this smooth. We're looking at a picture of Saturn right now. I don't believe it looks this smooth. I think that's just because it's very, very big. It's actually kind of like there's varying degrees of, it's like, ooh, all over the place. I wish I had a visual for the Spotify people. And then the ring is like rocks and shit, right? Like meteors. But they got caught in the orbit, which I imagine these gas giant things, if they're just getting like super light gas and having it stick gravitationally to the planet, then I would guess that they could keep a rock in place, circling around, stuck in the orbit. So like traditionally a planet or a meteor might just strike into a planet, right? Straight. But if it's sort of lighter, like a gas giant, it's just going to go there close and it's going to get stuck and not ever land there and just kind of keep going around and around the planet in one of these rings. There's a lot of rings here. There's a D ring, a C ring. So I guess the mass of the material is what's deciding this, if I had to guess. So it looks like the stuff that's super, super light, that's not very big, is at the D ring. Then C ring gets a little bit heavier. B ring looks like some heavy shit. There is a division here, which is interesting, between the B ring and the A ring called the Cassini division. There is, so wait, oh shit, where was I? I was on the B ring, right? No, I'm on the A ring now. There's an A ring, and then it gets confusing. Okay, so between the A ring and the F ring now, we're on the F ring. I don't know why it went like that. There's another division called the Anke division. Then there's an F ring. So it says under here in parentheses, Prometheus, Pandora. I don't know if they're just saying shit from like Percy Jackson or what, but I don't really know what that means at this point. There's an F ring, and then here's where things get interesting. So D ring, C ring, B ring, A ring, F ring, fully visible. You can totally see them. I assume that they are raw matter, like rocks, you know, rocks and shit. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But then there's two more rings. One of them is called the G ring, and one of them is called the E ring. And oh boy, if you saw what the E ring looks like, I'm gonna do one for the YouTube audience here. This is the E ring, is what they're implying. The entire rest of the fucking image. This thing is huge, and I assume this is just more gas, like gas that's maybe like light enough that it's just not getting to the planet. Or maybe this is gas that's on the way to the planet to get to the gas giant. I have no fucking idea. I'm not an astronomer. I'm not an astrophysicist. This is armchair detective. But this thing's huge. This E ring is gigantic. And I think if there's any mystery about this thing, it should be about this E ring. But we're not even talking about Saturn here. We're talking about the moons. There is a shit ton of moons on Saturn. Yeah, it says, I want to point this out for the Spotify audience. It says that the E ring goes from where the G ring is, which is not very far from Saturn itself, all the way to Titan, which is one of the farthest away moons that Saturn has that isn't even visible on the image that we're looking at. That's how big the E ring is. And all sorts of weird mysteries and shit just from looking at this image. I have some questions about Saturn. And I wanna know, I want to know. We're going to learn about Saturn, okay? But first of all, we need to stay with what we got on this. Oh, and there's the whole thing about planet symbols too. But planet symbols is a little bit different, I believe. So the planet that we are discussing when we talk about our major topic for Armchair Detective, which is the Saturn moon glyphs. Look at some images of the Saturn moon. We see, oh, this looks like some fucking this looks like to visualize it for the Spotify audience. This looks like some Star Wars shit. This looks like Renvar. They ever played Star Wars Battlefront 1? So this planet, I believe, is Enceladus, which is the one very close, and so right after Mimas. And there does appear to be, yeah, I don't know. What are we talking about? A glyph. I want a glyph like thing. Most of these are just like craters. There's these big, almost scars on the planet, and they're telling me this is ice, broken ice, so it's water. It's gotta be water, right? Because it's blue. Shit looks insane. Oh my god. Like, it looks crazy. Icy Enceladus's tiger stripes are a window to its watery depths, says the headline of this New Scientist article. This is crazy. Now, there is another one of some contention, and it's for the Iapetus, the one we couldn't fucking pronounce at all. There's some people saying that there might be that the surface of Iapetus looks a little bit strange. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, it does look kind of strange. It has one big line circling the entire thing, almost like, you know how if you ever had like a little chocolate ball. You know what? Let me get this ball of chocolate. What would this even come up with? This is what it looks like for the YouTube audience. It looks like, yeah, perfect. Oh, I love that shit. When you Google something and it gives you exactly what you're thinking of. So the little indent that chocolate has so that they can put the filling in there, right? That's what this looks like, because it's all across the whole planet. By the way, hello Nangu, I see you in chat. That's what this looks like. But it's interesting because that's not what's circled in the image. What's circled in the image is just, I don't know, some random fucking crater, which I don't, but I guess that's the glyph? I won't lie, this one appears to be pretty mysterious. Saturn moon glyphs, maybe it's the government covering it up, but it doesn't come up with like too many interesting search results. It either comes up with Enceladus or Iapetus, which, take in mind, here's another interesting thing. There's like 10 more of these, okay? Remember all the ones I listed off at the beginning. Mimas, Tethys, Dione, Rhea, Titan, Hyperion, Phoebe have not been mentioned. So there's a lot of these, and there's still the rings. The rings are still the weirdest part to me. How does this work gravitationally? How the fuck do you do this? Do we know? I don't even care about the... You know what? I don't even care about the planet symbols. That's how deep we are into this Armchair Detective. I don't give a shit about what the fucking astronomy sign for the moon glyphs are. Although, I don't know. Can we compare this? It's hard for me to... Okay, here, this one's good. This image has every picture of all the moons, like, visually, just so you know what they look like. Okay, how do I go back to... Is there any more... Is there, like, results? Okay, so there's an article discussing this exact thing. It's from a appears to be a science fiction article, but I'm gonna hope this is not fiction itself, and that this one is it's not like a story he made up. It's like him discussing this ancient glyphs on Saturn theory. So I'll read this guy, because of course we still need to know about the glyphs, but let me go to these planets. I mean, they all look pretty normal to me. Tethys does have what looks like a huge fucking crater. Kind of makes it look like the Death Star, but I mean, that is a crater. Oh, so this is perfect. No, wait, this is Titan. Wait, this is a moon. Why is a moon also a gas giant? Or is it not? This is even an armchair detective about like conspiracy theories. This just is an armchair detective about like science. What is Titan's moon? What is the Titan moon? Titan moon Saturn. Why does this also look like it's made of gas? Wait, what? Titan. This is from Wikipedia. Titan is the largest moon of Saturn, the second largest in the solar system, and this one's pretty far away too, which is interesting. And larger than any of the dwarf planets in the solar system, which I guess include Pluto. It is the only moon known to have a dense atmosphere in the whole solar system. Yeah, because I was like, I thought moons just have like big rock holes in them or whatever. It is the only known object in space other than Earth on which clear evidence of stable bodies of surface liquid have been found. But what about the icy planet? What about Hoth? That would have water, right? That's got to be water of some kind. It's one of the 7... Oh, I'm sorry. One of the 7 gravitationally rounded moons. I guess in total, there are 82 moons that Saturn has. I assume a lot of those are probably in the ring, right? It's just, if there's a rock that's big enough in the planet's ring, that they just call it a moon, even though it's just a really big rock. So I assume that past a certain size, like, it's important to classify between what is a moon, what is a dwarf planet, and what is a planet. Because the bigger it is, the more gravitational pulse it has, and the more it can like encircle other things. I assume that's the main reason for the distinction between them. It's composed of ice and rocky material, but the whole thing is ice, which is crazy to me. This is what the conspiracy theory should be about. What if they're just mining water from these things and we don't even know about it? I want to know more about them. Okay, wait. Before we get too deep into this, this image is insane, by the way. Holy shit, is this real? Is this like from like the Voyager or some shit? This is a fucking insane image. This is like space. You're missing out if you're on Spotify. Let me tell you. This Saturn shit is fucking insane. I would have never like bothered looking up anything about Saturn because I don't give a shit about Saturn. I wonder what Jupiter's like. Yeah, Saturn's like this. Imagine what Jupiter's like. Or Neptune. Neptune's a blue one. Why is it blue? What are the gases? Okay, we need to stop learning about Saturn. We need to stop learning about science for a second, and we need to start learning about conspiracies, okay? Fuck this science shit. We need to start learning about the conspiracies. That's what the point of the show is. So this is going back to the conspiracy article. This should actually explain to us what Saturn moon glyphs meant when we Googled them. This article is called Ancient Glyphs on Saturn's Moon, an Intriguing Possibility, written by... is there a name attached to this, or is it just the website? Well, the website is called Wondergressive. But I don't see like a name. Unless it's this guy, E.S. Fine? That might be E.S. Fine. Maybe that's who it is. Because apparently he's written 3 books. Pretty good. He says, the vast expanse of cosmos is started, and this might be a fiction, because he, of course, is a science fiction author, but I'm hoping that it is real. The vast expanse of the cosmos is started with countless, but I mean, it made it to the conspiracy chart, so it might as well be real. Many of which are beyond human comprehension. One fascinating enigma that stirred up intrigue among scientists, researchers, and space enthusiasts alike. It's the possibility of ancient glyphs on the moons of Saturn. This is it. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This has got to be what the conspiracy is. This is what our Armchair Detective episode should be about. Well, the hypothesis seemed like it could be the stuff of science fiction. as this guy is, compelling evidence suggests that it could in fact be a reality. And what? Like that it's an actual glyph made by space aliens? Saturn, the sixth planet from the sun, is famous for its striking ring system. Yeah, we've learned about that. That's just some crazy wackadoodle shit. But it is the planet's 82 known moons, holy shit, that's a lot, that harbor the most tantalizing possibilities. Titan, Enceladus, Iapetus, and Mimas are just some of the satellites that have piqued scientific interest. And before we get too deep into this, because I noticed this guy doesn't really have any images, do we have images of those moons? Can we get some moon images back? Oh boy, I got rid of all of them. We had that beautiful image of Saturn's moons, and I don't know where it is anymore. Where is? I want the image that I saw. Okay, the major moons of Saturn. This is too small. I really like the one that I saw before. Oh, this is. Where's the some of these images are like freaky to me, and I don't know why. Let me go to images.google.com. Saturn's moons, not their rings, not yet, just the moons. Where was that image? Oh, this one's pretty good. We can probably use this one. Actually, this is not very big, but it has all of them, I think. Well, actually, okay, you know what? As he brings them up, I'll just look at pictures of that planet. How about that? Maybe that's easier. Iapetus. Iapetus. I feel like I change the pronunciation every time I say it. The moon with a yin-yang face. Iapetus, discovered by Giovanni, I'm not saying that, is known for its distinct two-tone coloration, with one hemisphere being darker than the other. Interesting. Is that true? Can we fact check that? Iapetus moon. One side being darker than... Oh, damn! This looks like this motherfucker got hit with powdered sugar. That's what this looks like. But wouldn't this just be the... Is that coloring? Or is that like... It looks like it's just dark because it's like the sun's facing the other way. Or maybe that is just how it looks. Well, all the images do look like there's like a big... It looks like a big... Like somebody just threw some cocoa powder on it. Or some shit. However, what is even more intriguing is the presence of an equilateral or equatorial ridge along its surface. Oh, is this the chocolate thing I was talking about before? Are they bringing this up? Oh, ho, 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 ho. People do bring this up. Let's fucking go. I'm not crazy. Yeah, they are talking about that. The first thing that shot out to me with the thing about the chocolate ball, how it looks like the chocolate ball got infused together so they can put filling into it. Maybe, hey, we don't know. Maybe there's something filled in to that moon. There's your armchair detective for the day. So it is that. Holy shit, that's awesome. Okay. Ray structure stretching approximately 1,300 kilometers is linked to a wall by sun. Appears almost artificial in nature. Interesting. So what would have caused that? I mean, that makes sense though, right? So how are mountains created? Right, so this is a mountain range that is a perfect line across the entire moon. But think about it. Think about it, right? How do these things get made? How do mountains get made? Well, it's like rocks like hitting the surface, right? So if a bunch of rocks like hit this thing all in one place, then they're gonna mount up together and they're gonna make a mountain. From what I understand from the little geological, astronomical, physics, any knowledge that I have, I believe that's how it works. Well, in this system, this Saturn system, of course, Saturn's there. Saturn's got a huge fucking ring around it, right? That is a perfect straight across ding 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 ding. We don't question that. I think we should. I would like to know more about the Saturn's ring. I think it is quite strange, but we don't question that part. So if there's a perfect ring around Saturn, why would it be so crazy that, let's say, this moon that doesn't have the same gravitational force of Saturn, but it's still pretty big, it could just have like it's like trying to make a ring almost, right? But they just keep hitting it. Like there's not enough of a gravitational pull to stay away from them and just have them orbit. They always get close, they get close, they get close, and then they get oriented, and then they crash into. But then they just crash into it because it doesn't have the force to make the ring. That's if I had to use a scientific explanation. Which, by the way, I took one class in physics and I failed it. But that's what I would guess if I had to assume what the actual answer is for that. Let's move on. Dione. Wayne. That was even one of the ones that was mentioned, right? Yeah, so he mentioned Titans. He meant Titan, Enceladus, and Mimas. But there's only one more here, and it's Dione. Dione, Saturn's scribed moon. Dione, another one of Saturn's moon, adds further fuel to the speculation with its heavily cratered surface interspersed with bright ice cliffs. So yeah, all of them have ice, right? Why did it say that Titan was the only one that had ice on it? Is that just wrong on Wikipedia's end, or is there like a reason, like there's a difference between like having ice and having water? Oh, because I guess ice doesn't have to be water, right? Or no? Yeah, if ice is something that we only call water. Or could it be like another liquid thing that like iced up, quote unquote? I guess it could be that. Dione represents a striking celestial spectacle. Damn, you can tell this guy's a sci-fi writer. I appreciate this article though. I like this one. Certain regions of this moon, particularly among the ice cliffs, show unusual markings that bear a startling resemblance to systematic, almost scripted symbols. So, if there's anything about a glyph on here, anything about a glyph on any of these motherfucking planets, it's on Dione. Let's look at Dione. I appreciate ES Fine here for giving us this information. I'm going to close out of him. We're going to look at Dione Moon. Figure out what exactly they're talking about. Oh, there's some, I guess. It's got a lot of those like scars. I think that's what one of the articles said, and I just started stealing it. These moons look scarred in some way. So I think we saw Dione was one of them. What was the other one that looked like that? It was the one that I couldn't pronounce. Iapetus? Was this one? Oh no, Iapetus is the chocolate one. What was the other one? Enceladus, however the fuck you pronounce this one. Which is the coolest one, by the way. This looks insane. This literally looks like... This looks like the preview battle image for Renvar. Which I guess... Since Star Wars has only been around for like 30 years and this has been around for several billion, maybe they saw this first and then modeled the planet after that. But, I mean, it's still cool that it looks like a Star Wars thing. And this one looks like Tatooine. Oh, this is just a different colored image of the same thing. So yeah, it looks... So this one makes sense, right? Why it would look like this? Because if we're implying that the whole thing is made of ice, which is super cool, by the way. That's insane. Holy shit. This planet is so awesome. If it looks like this... If it looks like this, then we assume that these are cracks in the ice. Right? All the scarring. It would just be cracks in the ice. Right? I mean, that makes sense. Because it's not all going to be together. But this one, this Dione one, doesn't have any ice. Or maybe it has smaller chunks of ice that just aren't very visible from here. Maybe, if I had to guess. And so, they just, No, I think that's ice. Because you can kind of see, I mean, there's a lot of craters. Also, there's a lot of craters, so that would explain the cracking. I don't know. I can't really make anything. I don't think this is a. I don't know where you're getting this. It looks like text thing from. It just looks like fucking nothing. Unless I can look up. Oh, well, this one has a little. Okay, can I look? Is there an example of this? Like Dion Moon. What did he use? Like script, like letter, like rune. What are you getting from this? What, this looks like words? This doesn't look like jack shit, Captain. This looks like naturally appearing, and this one makes it look a lot more like ice. So I don't know if I don't know if I buy this. Nope, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think this is anything. I don't think Saturn's moon cliffs have any sort of. I was able to explain all those really quickly, but we need to learn more about Saturn, because this planet is fucking freaking me out. This is what the real mystery of Armchair Detective is for today. The fuck is Saturn? There's just, there's so many things in life that you just kind of like take for granted. Like when you're a kid, you're learning about the solar system, and you're like, okay, there's 7 planets. There's Mercury, Venus, what is it? Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, Mars, Venus, whatever the fucking planets are, the moon. They say all this shit, and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm sure I'll use that for later. But then you don't question the idea of like, why does this planet look like this? Why does it look so perfectly round? And why the fuck does it have a ring? Why is there this perfect ring to this? This looks crazy. Is there more image? So what was it called? It was called the Cassini Saturn orbit insertion ring plane. Wait, is that what it's called? The thing that took this image? Oh, a view from NASA's Cassini spacecraft from they took this image in 2005. We knew about this all the way in 2005. Is there more images from this spacecraft? Yeah, Cassini spacecraft photos. This thing looks crazy. There's no way that's real. What? Wait, I can't tell what's real or what's not real. That can't, there's no way that's real. No, that's not real. How can I tell? What images are, I need to go to like an article that's like saying which ones are, because a lot of these just look like, okay, NASA would not lie to me. These have to be real images. If this is a real image, this illustration, no, it's not a fucking, I want the real shit. I want the stuff that this thing like took. These images are like, so there's been Tethys disappears behind Titan, as observed by Cassini. Oh, so this looks blurry because it's all like gas and stuff. I understand. The arcs, holy shit. So it actually looks like that. It almost looks sped up. You know how when it go around really fast? Or are they going around really fast? Is this going really fast? I guess we can learn about that too. Because it looks like it's just, or is it just like so far away and they're so small that it just looks like it's all the same thing? I don't really understand that. Because it's all just like rocks, right? It's not like a literal ring. It's just like a ring of rocks. Here's all of the, this shit freaks me out. Look at how black that is. There's nothing out there. That shit spooks the shit out of me. See this view from orbit. This was in 2010. How's it sending these images? How did they get the thing to first of all take images and then to send them back to Earth? I don't get this. This is freaking me out, man. This is freaking me out way more than the moon glyph shit. And this is real life. The fact, okay, do you know what freaks me out the most about this? Oh, this is like actually scary to me. I actually really don't like these images. This is like really freaky. Like if you put Put like I don't know what's like a scary sound effect. Like the Roblox haunted mansion sound. No, don't do that. Like I like I don't know, like some like weird droning buzz noise that you would see in like a subliminal horror creepypasta, and just show this image. You would be so unnerved and freaked out. The craziest thing about this, oh god, I really don't. I don't think I can look at these images. I think I have a new fear. I didn't even know I had this fear. I hate space objects now. This really freaks me out. I really don't like these images at all. The scariest thing here was, I don't know why this freaks me out so much. This must be a new fear that I have. I didn't know I was afraid of this stuff. This is the scariest one, for sure, 100%. The fact, look how perfectly round this is, and the fact that it makes a shadow on the rings, it's so big. Fuck that. No, I don't like science anymore. I don't like astronomy. I don't like space. This thing's fucking freaky. I don't like it. I want it out of here. I don't want any other planets besides Earth anymore. I don't like this. The planet itself is fuck the moon. I don't give a shit about the moons. I don't give a shit what's on the moons. Cool, they have ice. Why can't they all look like that other one? This is so. Oh god, I hate this. What about the other one that looks so nice? I learn a little bit. I want to learn more about the Cassini. How do they? How does it take? How does it take these images? Is it just take a shit like Wi-Fi signal back? Like it takes 20 years for us to get these images. Yeah, it said it took that one image in 2005, but we got that like last week. Like how are they getting these images? Oh, it crashed? Oh, that's so sad. But fuck this. Oh, but then how does it take a pic? No, this is fake. Okay, I was like, why does it take? How does it take a picture of itself? These are all fake images. If it has the okay, I understand. Fuck this planet. Fuck this thing. I do not like this planet. It freaks me out. I have a viscerally like the more it builds up, the more I do not like Saturn. I really don't like this planet. It's freaking me out. I don't even remember what I was saying before this. Oh god. Okay. I guess we'll find out. Let's find out some more about it. I don't even want to touch Jupiter now. I don't even want to look at Jupiter anymore. Oh god, that is freaky. I don't want to look at Jupiter. But I hate how perfectly spherical. I know it doesn't actually look like that. I know it's not actually perfectly spherical. It's like the gas. It's just so far away that it looks like it's a perfect sphere, but in reality, it's all sorts of a fucking mess. But I don't. The fact that it is so perfectly spherical, like, really gets to me, and I don't know what it is. This is a new irrational fear that I have. Okay, so it's the sixth planet from the sun. I think the other one said it was the seventh. I don't know. Who's paying attention? I don't know this shit. The second largest in the solar system after Jupiter is a gas giant with the average radius of about 9.5 times that of Earth. Yeah, all the gas giants are quote unquote bigger than us. Even though the reason that they're bigger is that they're just all fucking gas. Like, who cares? If I pumped out a bunch of smoke, like out of a, it's like a nozzle, and I kept that up for like 50 years, yeah, we would look just as big as Saturn did. Fuck you, Saturn. I really don't like Saturn anymore. I don't even want to look at this image. Oh god. Okay, the planet has a predominantly ring system, which is composed mainly of ice particles. Okay, so it's like, wait. Oh, so it's really small stuff. It's particles then, right? With a smaller amount of rocky debris and dust. So it's like small shit. Like small. It's not like big rocks floating in space. So it's gotta be. That's crazy then. I have no idea. So how does that work? Oh god, I don't like that image. I don't want to look at Saturn anymore, guys. I just don't like this. But then, okay, but then there's 146 moons. So are they all kind of like within the rings? Are they just big little bumps on the rings? Or like, how does this work? Oh, God. There's just more questions. More and more questions. We will never get answers to this. Oh, the poles. Oh, fuck this. I don't think I can look at this. I don't like this thing. Jesus. Wait, yeah, okay. What? Okay, so there's a Colombo Gap and a Maxwell Gap, which I think are completely different names from what I saw from before. Best known for the system of planetary rings that make it unique. The rings extend very far from its equator. They're composed primarily of water ice. But it's like almost like snowflakes, right? I guess is the closest equivalent. With trace amounts of Fulton impurities and a peppered coating of approximately 7% amorphous carbon. There are two main hypotheses. Okay, here. Okay, this is what we care about. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about on Armchair Detective because I'm sick of looking at this fucking planet. I don't like Saturn. I like how this had literally nothing to do with the Armchair Detective topic, by the way. Regarding the origin of the rings. One hypothesis is that the rings are remnants of a destroyed moon of Saturn, for which a research team at MIT has proposed the name Chrysalis. Where's this on the conspiracy chart? This is what this whole discussion should have been about. They fucking slapped they slapped the motherfucker so hard he turned into a planetary ring. Holy shit. So it must have been even bigger than Titan, right? If I had to guess. But the second hypothesis said the rings are left over from the original nebular material from which Saturn was formed, which is more like what I was talking about, right? That there's just stuff that's going to the planet, but it's not big enough to hit it, so it just circles around it. But the moon theory is crazy because that's like that motherfucker got slapped and he blew the fuck up, but then the pieces of when it blew up were so small. And I guess that couldn't be it, right? Because it would have meant that they were so perfectly small that they just stuck around the system. Or I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works. So if Titan blew up, would the rings get even bigger? I don't really know. Okay, so that's crazy. Okay, last open question for this whole thing. How the fuck do they send the photos back to America, well, I guess, yeah, to America. So wait, when did this thing die? End of mission. 2017. So sad. Like having a friend die. How did they get the images? Instruments. They got a whole bunch of shit for this. And then 13 years old Saturn taking these creepy ass photos that I never want to see again. Somebody should make it. That would be a good. Oh, I'm sure somebody's made it. I'm sure somebody has made a Saturn themed creepypasta before, given how this fucking planet looks. I'm sure there is a Saturn themed horror ARG, and it's probably analog horror. If I had to guess. But it's gotta be about Saturn. It can't be about the moons. Nobody gives a shit about the moons. It has to be about Saturn, specifically. Saturn the planet. I don't give a shit about the moons. Yeah, how did it take the how does the picture send back? Does it say? Oh Jesus. I don't know, what do scientists call a fucking photography? Well, actually, I mean, I assume it's the same shit. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I really don't like that image. That's fucking freaky. Um. Wait, you know what? I'm just gonna Google this. How does data from Cassini. I'll use Cassini specifically, but I assume it's the same thing for every single one of these. How does data from Cassini come back to Earth? It could be any one of these. How much data? Well, how does it? I don't care about how much data. I'm saying how. What does it do? As radioed in. It's a radio? What the fuck? Wait, how? Is run through also some compression algorithms. I don't care. Is so the data is so wait, so yeah, it's compressed. Duh. Wait, camera. How does it do this? I'm asking ChatGPT. I'm asking ChatGPT. I want to know. Oh, but I have to sign in for this. Fuck. Hold on, give me a second. I need to know this question. How does, with radio waves, but how would you send an image? Is it like it converts it? Like if you had a grid, like ones and zeros and stuff, and then you radio the ones and zeros. So it's like you take the picture, and then there's a system on the probe that converts it into like ones and zeros and stuff in like a grid format, and then you send that over, and then back on Earth. Like, I guess you can radio from that far of a distance. Jesus, that's like 7 million space years. I don't know, how far is Saturn? I feel like it's like forever. You take that thing, and just I'm asking ChatGPT. I have no idea how this would work. This shit seems insane to me. ChatGPT would know. This is one of the questions that ChatGPT would know the answer to. Okay. How does a probe in space, such as the Cassini probe that flew around Saturn, send data like images back to Earth? I need something that I can like ask clarifying questions to. Okay, so here's ChatGPT's answer on this. Probes in space, like the Cassini spacecraft that explored Saturn, use a combination of advanced technology and techniques to send data. Oh, this is a long answer. It's still going. Use a series of techniques. Here's how it works: data acquisition, instruments collect various types of data, images, scientific measurements. The collected data is processed on board the spacecraft to reduce noise, compress the images, and convert raw measurements into a form suitable for transmission. Data storage. Processed data is temporarily stored on board memory, so it can be transmitted to Earth. It's out of the okay, so when big old ass Saturn's in the fucking way, then I can't send any data, so it has to store it for a little bit. Okay, here's where shit gets interesting. Spacecraft is equipped with a communication system that includes high gain antennas and radio transmitters. I assume some crazy ass antenna, like some top of the line fucking antennas. These components are used to send data back to Earth. The high gain antenna is usually a dish that can be pointed precisely towards Earth to establish a strong signal. I guess we're always listening for it down here. The Deep Space Network, the series of radio antennas. Yeah, so this is where those are where the Deep Space Network is the antennas that are looking for the other antennas. I get it. That makes sense. Data transmission. When the spacecraft is in a favorable position relative to Earth, line of sight. I don't even know how the algorithm works for that. How's it like? How would it know? How would it know that it's facing Earth? That's another question for another time. We need to wrap this up. Favorable to Earth, it transmits the data back to our planet. The data is sent as radio waves using specific frequencies. But how do you convert a... Hold on, let me keep reading just in case it says it. Large system of energy, sending weak signals. Store and do some facilities. Okay. Not always real time. There can be significant time delays due to the vast difference. It takes 84 minutes for a signal to travel from Saturn to Earth when the two planets are the farthest distance from each other. What did I say? It took like 5 years? It only takes 84 minutes? That's it? Holy shit. That's like, when we had modems back in the 90s, 84 minutes is how much it took to load a website page. And they're sending shit from Saturn in 84 minutes? I really thought it would have taken like a year. Like, there's a huge delay on that shit. Because like, when you look at the sky, right? When you look at those planets in the sky, aren't they like, oh, we're seeing the planets from like 2 million years ago? I mean, I guess they aren't like Saturn. Like, they're not that. They're like much, much farther away. But like, you would think that. That's weird to me. Okay, it still didn't really answer the question of how do the probes send images via radio frequencies? How are those images decrypted back on Earth? I feel like this seems to be leaning towards my original idea was correct. So it's like ones and zeros essentially. It's just like a and that if you read the beep 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 beep, then you can like it converts in such a way that you can make an image out of it. It's not literally sending the image, right? It's not sending the raw image. It's just like using that frequency something. You can put it through an algorithm and it remakes an image, is what I would have to guess. Oh, holy shit, it gave me a big answer for this. This is a process known as data encoding and modulation. You know what? Do you want to read this? Here, you can read this. Sorry, not this one. I'm back on my main because I had to convert it. I had to sign in, so I couldn't do this in a private window. Wait, where was it? Hello? Did it? No, it's not this one. Oh, I guess you can't see it. Oh, well, hey, I guess you on YouTube, you're gonna have to be just like the Spotify people this time, okay? You don't get to see it. This is known as data encoding and modulation. The data is transmitted as radio waves, which are a form of electromagnetic radiation, and these waves carry encoded information. The images are converted into a digital form. This means that an analog format, such as the intensity of the light in the image, is converted into a series of binary digits that represent the data. So I'm right. You're welcome. We don't even need to read the rest of it. I just need to know if I'm right or not. And that's what it is. So, and then when they demodulate it, they recover the digital data. It reverses the modulation. So the converting, okay. And it will just, it'll just make it makes an image from scratch. But it's not like it's not like the same thing as like if I put an image into like Google Drive, right, and I download the image, it's like the same image, I think. I guess that's how it works. This is more like we have to recreate the image from scratch given the radio frequencies, because we can't just like Google Drive that shit on a fucking probe in space. So that makes sense. Okay, we learned a lot today. We didn't really learn anything about Saturn moon glyphs, but we learned a lot about space. This became less of a crackpot conspiracy episode and more of like a just talking about like science, which I mean I guess is a good thing, but it didn't really have anything to do with Armchair Detective. I was Armchair Detectiving a lot of that shit. Armchair Scientist might be the better name for this episode. But anyway, that was Armchair Detective. I will see you in the next episode of Armchair Detective. But this Monday morning coffee is not over yet. I just need to say that for the VOD. I guess the last thing I can talk about here is my opinion on Starfield. So I have been talking about Starfield, and we will be playing more Starfield this week. So I think when I did that last stream, let's say I was like a level 4. I think I went to New Atlantis for the first time ever on that stream, which is crazy to me because I've been there plenty of times since. Or maybe it was like the second time I went there. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. No, it was, because I still had the robot companion. Well, now I have this white British chick as my companion. I want to say I'm 20 hours in. I'm level 15. So I was like a level 4, I think, when I last played. And I've been doing a lot of the procedurally generated stuff. So the next time you see everything, I'm going to have way crazier stats. I'm also going to have cheated, because I cheated myself carry weight. I didn't cheat for anything else, but I give myself more carry weight. Because I hate that in Bethesda games. I just give myself infinite inventory because I don't give a fuck. There's way too much stuff to loot in those games. So, I've been playing a lot of it, and it's a very nice, mindless experience, I feel like. I've always said, because I feel like a problem is that people think that Bethesda games are like a premium experience. I guess it's just that way because they usually get really good reviews. I've always treated, especially ever since Skyrim, pretty much, I've treated Bethesda games as like premium Ubisoft, but still kind of the same thing as Ubisoft. It's not like you're not getting like an incredible, crazy experience, right? So for some of the games that released this year, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Tears of the Kingdom, these are like crazy experiences that took like 5 years to make, and they're like, there's a lot going on in each of them. There's not a whole lot going on in Starfield, and honestly, does it take? They said it was 25 years in the making, which sounds like it was written on a note card by Todd 25 years ago, and then 25 years later, they're like, oh shit, we could turn this into a game probably, and then they finished the game in like a couple of months. That's what this. It doesn't feel like it took 25 years to make. I'll say that at least. It definitely doesn't feel like 25 years were put into this. But it's still fun. I mean, it's what you would expect. It's like Fallout 4. I would say it's like pretty similar to Fallout 4. I would say it's better than Fallout 4. Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 were both pretty mid to me. I didn't think they were awful, but they were like there was stuff in those games that weren't as interesting as something like Skyrim. And I still think Skyrim's the best one in terms of this new Ubisoft flavor of like just go there, get items, do, because Oblivion had that weird thing of like it was trying to be a really hardcore immersive role-playing game, and then Morrowind before that was just like a traditional CRPG. As Skyrim was the first one that's just like, okay, let's just turn this into a Ubisoft like, where you're just going to these areas, you're getting loot, you're leveling up, you're doing all that sort of stuff. And every game since then has been that. And I thought they were. I think that formula is fine. I mean, I play Ubisoft games. I don't pay for Ubisoft games. I usually get them for free, just like how I got Starfield for free by being a Xbox Game Pass member. Maybe when the special edition is out in 3 years with all the DLC, I'll buy it for $10. But I'm not gonna buy a game like that full price. That's just not happening. That's still pretty good though. So we'll be playing more Starfield next week. We'll probably be looking at some classic Roblox maps next week as well. After that, I'm looking to start some RPGs. We will not be finishing RPGs on this channel, I don't think, but I will be starting them, and if we're really interested in playing them all the way through, then I'll play them. But I'm thinking of stuff like Divinity Original Sin will be the first one I play. Kind of all the Larian games in order. So Division, well, not the really old ones, but Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2, and then Baldur's Gate 3. I'll at least start those on stream and then play them until we get bored of them, essentially, is how I plan on working this. And of course, there are still the other games I promised, like Hitman and Ready or Not. And we will play those at some point. as well. But for this week, I'm thinking it's going to be Starfield. It's going to be more classic Roblox maps. Oh, and we're also going to go through Flash games too at some point, but not exactly yet. Anyway, with that in mind, now is the end of Monday Morning Coffee. It is the end of Monday Morning Coffee's episode 49. Didn't quite finish the coffee, but it was a big one. I talked a lot because there was no video to react to, unfortunately. I just had to talk over the whole thing. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you're on Spotify or if you're watching the VOD, nice to meet you. Get that Armchair Detective out. I think that Armchair Detective was fun. I think that's going to be a good one. But until next time, I will see you.